we're going to start. It was in Bioscience, the journal Bioscience, and William J. Ripple is the main guy. And I was lucky enough to discuss with him. Well, I wasn't discussing. He came on to the Climate Crisis Club and he talked to us the other day, and it was really nice because he's a lovely person, and I think that this report, this 2024 State of the Climate Report, Perilous Times on Planet Earth, it's more of the same, and you see that the people that are in it, William Ripple, Christopher Wolfe, Julian Gregg, Johann Rockstrom, Michael Mann, Naomi Oreskes, Timothy Lenton, Stefan Rahmstorff, Thomas Newsom. There's quite a few. And they are the who's who. But this was done in Oregon at Oregon State University in Corvallis, which is very cool. And I had just happened to be in Oregon, a few weeks ago for my brother's birthday. And it was pretty cool. So let me go through this, but I'm really not going to do, Paul Beckwith already did this in his way. Okay, Paul Beckwith, if you're not familiar with his channel, he's very sciencey. And then Collapse Chronicles also went over it, but in a very different way. His is more the we are so fucked way. Well, I'm kind of in the middle. All right. I am kind of in the middle, but I'll start with just telling you that they start with we are on the brink of an irreversible climate disaster. And as long as you've been following this channel, we have been talking for 7 years about this irreversible climate disaster. And they use the word brink of, okay? Witnessed record-breaking sea surface temperatures, the hottest Northern Hemisphere extratropical summer in 2,000 years, and the breaking of many other climate records. So their aim was to communicate directly to researchers, policymakers, and the public. As scientists and academics, they feel it's their moral duty and that of other institutions all of their institutions to alert humanity to the growing threats that we face as clearly as possible and to show leadership in addressing them. So they do. They look at the planetary signs. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did the planetary boundaries report, Johann Rockstrom, and now I am doing this one, William Ripple, who actually really is lovely, and I'm going to invite him on the show because I do think he would be a great guest for us, a fascinating guest for us. So they go and they look at the trends and the climate anomalies. World surface air temperature, Antarctic sea ice extent, global sea ice extent, world ocean surface temperature anomaly, North Atlantic sea surface temperature. And I just want to go through this, and I really want to talk more, I'd say, about the social aspect of this report and what's going to happen, what they expect to happen, and what won't happen, really, and why. Because the second half, I've got lots of videos and lots of little things that could make you laugh, could make you cry. And so they go through all of the different time frames, the disasters that have gone through. But again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. All right. What I want to do is tell you, first of all, William Ripple, they have a conservation biology institute, which is the good stuff, which is forging a path for ecological sustainability, if it's even possible at this time. But they're trying. And those are the people who love the planet, who love the earth. And that's the kind of work I think is very important, much more so than all the techno-utopian crap. So this is an encapsulation. Earth's worsening signs indicate a critical and unpredictable phase of the climate crisis. An international coalition led by Oregon State University scientists conclude in its annual report published the other day that the Earth's worsening vital signs indicate a critical and unpredictable new phase of the climate crisis, and that decisive action is needed and fast, which is the sticking point for me. But we will get there. The collaboration, directed by OSU's William Ripple and former postdoctoral researcher Christopher Wolfe, outlines areas where policy change is needed: energy, pollutants, nature, food, and economy. In the 2024 State of the Climate Report, Perilous Times on Planet Earth, published in Bioscience, and of course, energy, pollutants, nature, food, and economy 50 years ago, right? A large portion of the very fabric of our life on our planet is imperiled, said Ripple, a distinguished professor in the Oregon State University College of Forestry. Ecological overshoot, taking more than the Earth can safely give, has pushed the planet into climactic conditions more threatening than anything witnessed even by our prehistoric relatives. We're already in the midst of abrupt climate change upheaval, which jeopardizes life on Earth like nothing humans have ever seen, he added. For example, Hurricane Helene caused more than 200 deaths in the southeastern United States and massive flooding in a North Carolina mountain area thought to be safe from climate change. So, of 35 planetary vital signs the scientists use to track climate change annually, 25 are at record extremes. So, the planetary boundaries, what if we crossed 16? These are 25. The hottest days ever came in July 2024, and fossil emissions are at an all-time high, as are human population and ruminant livestock population, the climate shows. Human population is increasing at a rate of approximately 200,000 per day. And the number of ruminant livestock, hoofed mammals such as cattle, sheep, and goats that produce greenhouse gases and are energy intensive to raise rises roughly 170,000 each day. So at least they did addressed overpopulation, which I think was good. The annual consumption of fossil fuels climbed by 1.5% in 2023. Go energy independence. Mainly because of big jumps in coal, 1.6%, and oil use, 2.5%, the report indicates. Renewable energies use increased in 2023. Solar, wind consumption together were up 15% in over 2022. But the use of renewables is just 1/14 of fossil fuel use. And the recent rise in the use of renewables is attributable mainly to increased demand rather than because they are replacing fossil fuels. The report shows that the annual tree cover loss globally rose from 22.8 million hectares in 2022 to 28.3 million in 2023. And based on global year-to-date averages, the concentrations of atmospheric carbon dioxide and methane are at all-time highs. So we are definitely going in the wrong direction. Absolutely going in the wrong direction. The growth rate of methane emissions has been accelerating, which is extremely troubling, said Wolfe, now a scientist with Corvallis-based Terrestrial Ecosystems Research Associates, known as Terra. Nitrous oxide, which is potent and long-lived, is also at record high. So other points of concern from the reports note the Earth's average surface temperature is at an all-time high. Ocean acidity and heat content, as well as global average sea level, are at record extremes. Greenland ice mass, Antarctica ice mass, and the average glacier thickness are at all-time lows. 28 amplifying feedback loops, those that exacerbate climate change, such as permafrost thawing, have been identified. In 2023, there were an estimated 2,325 heat-related deaths in the United States alone, 117,000 increase from 1999. And that's not even anything about the rest of the world, like the pilgrimage to Mecca. Since the publication of the 2023 report, multiple climate-related disasters have taken place, including a series of heat waves across Asia that killed more than 1,000 people and led to temperatures reaching 122 degrees Fahrenheit in parts of India, Ripple said. Climate change has already displaced millions of people, with the potential to displace hundreds of millions or even billions. That would likely lead to greater geopolitical instability, possibly even partial societal collapse. And what have we all been saying? At least on this channel and others in the doomosphere. The scientists say their goal is to provide clear evidence-based insights that inspire informed and bold responses from citizens to researchers and world leaders. Specifically, they recommend the rapid adoption of policies that, okay, this is what we'll go through and these are what we're going to talk about. Implement a global carbon price that could limit emissions by the wealthy while potentially providing funding for fossil fuels with low carbon renewables, curb emissions of greenhouse gases, including those categorized as short-term pollutants such as methane, protect and restore biodiverse ecosystems, which play key roles in carbon cycling and storage, my favorite. Encourage a shift toward eating habits that emphasize plant-based food, another favorite. Promote sustainable ecological economics and greatly reduce overconsumption and waste by the wealthy, oh yeah. Integrate climate change education into global curriculums that boost awareness, literacy, and action. So despite six reports from the IPCC, hundreds of other reports, tens of thousands of scientific papers, and 28 annual meetings of the UN's Conference of the Parties, the world has made little headway, tiny little headway on climate change. Humanity's future depends on creativity, moral fiber, and perseverance. If future generations are to inherit the world they deserve, decisive action is needed fast.